Hey y'all, this is Sarah May with Musicians of Nashville and Southern Glitter Entertainment. I'm here with music artist Miss Gina Jones. She has been in Nashville working on her craft and been developing artists for a long time and doing her own thing. So I'm so excited to share this talented artist with you all. So Gina, tell everybody, how did you get started in music?
Well, I was 9 years old, and we had a family band, or my siblings had a family band, and before that I was 7 when they started, and then so I would follow around, because my dad and mom would take them to the Missouri, all the different Opry houses and Eagles clubs and all that stuff, and so then my favorite sister played the bass, so when she got married at age 16, and they didn't have a bass player. And I had memorized, because she was my favorite sister, so I memorized everywhere she put her fingers for every song that we did. And I have one of those photographic memories, So I started practicing and all of that, and they didn't know I already knew how to play. So my mom told my brother, she knows how to play the bass, and the guitar. And he said, my brother was horrible. He said, "Get away from me, you little brat," And so Mom dressed me all up, and they were having this big, huge show at this place called Buck Cody's Jamboree in Marceline, Missouri. And so Mom dressed me all up and put my hair curly and a little short skirt and boots and all that. And she said, "Now, if your brother says you can't get on stage with him, walk up to Mr. Buck Cody, the owner, and ask him if you can get up with his band." So I did, because my brother said, "That way," blowing off in our face. Sorry, we're in our backyard. Anyways, so I did, and Mr. Buck Cody said, "Well, of course, little lady, you're getting up next." He pushed me right on the stage. So I was standing there in this big spotlight going, and they kicked off Coal Miner's Daughter, and I'm like just standing there going, duh, in the spotlight. And so he had to kind of dance up there and say, "Don't look at the spotlight, look at the first 3 rows of people.
Yeah.
Don't look at the spotlight." So he taught me right there, and so I started singing, and I got standing ovations. So the rest is history.
Yeah,
Here I am today.
You knew what you wanted to do.
Yes, I never have given up, ever. No matter what the circumstances been, I knock down, I get right back up and go after it a different way. Because once you go after it one way and don't work, then you need to regroup, go, okay, I'm going to go after it again. How do I need to approach it this time, right?
Yeah.
So if it don't work the first time, you got to come after it another way.
That's great advice. That's great advice. And what has been your most proud moment in your music career so far, would you say?
I think it's been recently, because I worked my whole life for doing what I'm actually doing now in my later years, where most people would say there's no way, and you know what, she could ever do it. And recently I had a video, Saturday Night Center, went to 363,000 views on YouTube, and then my other 2 videos are 10,000 and 30,000. So that's unheard of to do as an older woman.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's unheard of.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy about that, and the books that I've written and things like that at this age,
Yeah, so what makes you right now want to keep going, and what do you think your goals are in the next 5 years with all this?
Well, I have a deep relationship with the man upstairs, and I look at myself as a 2-legged church out there having, an experience in the world where I shine my light, whether it be in songs or books or whatever. And so that's what I'm about, is the people that need to see a light in the darkness, and even relating to them, because most likely I've been there and done that. Because if you read my book, Madam of Music Row, you'll see that I did everything you could think of in my life and learned a lot from it. So that's my main thing, is I want to shine my light out there and make a difference in the world of somebody's world for the day. If it's one person at a time or 10,000 people. Like, we were at New York when my billboard came up for my "Can You Save Me" song, and I was talking to a homeless man at the time.
Yeah.
And Lori was, I have it up on YouTube. It's so funny. Lori's like, Gina, because I'm coming up on the big, huge billboard, and I'm more interested in the homeless man.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, oh, you know, talking to him, and then I'm finally, you know, I'm like, hang on a second, my billboard's up, you know, and that really touched his heart. So it's an interesting ride that I'm on, because I know that the last part of my life needs to be about this, about what I've lived up to this point. And it's shame on me if I don't tell all of my story in all of its glory.
Yeah.
For the dark part of the world, because that's where I was at for so many years.
How do you find that bravery, you know, to speak your truth to people? You know, it takes to be that real, and I feel like the most powerful artists out there are able to do that, you know, and it's almost necessary, you know, to really heal people. Like, what gives you the courage, you know, to do that?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely God courage, number one. I mean, he's number one in my life, and learning through so many ups and downs of being knocked down so much that, and caring about what other people thought of me, to the point to where it was destructive to myself. So laying all of that down and saying, you know what, I don't give a flip what other people think of me, because this is what I've been through, and it needs to be aired out to the world. And if people want to judge me for it and try to point the finger at me now and say, you know, I'm that way now because I'm not, then that's their problem.
Yeah.
But I've already been through it. I'm on the other side of it, and now is the time for me to shine it out for other people. There's people out there dying every day. I saw it in New York. I mean, we just walked down the street, and people would notice the light about me and come up to me and talk to me, which is Lori, my friend Lori, said, I just can't believe this is happening, you know, and so I'm used to it. You know, I don't notice it as much as other people do. But people know when they see me, there's something about me that's so real that, hey, I can just walk right up and talk to her about anything. So that is a gift from God. You know, it's a gift in this whole madness of darkness that I've embraced.
Yeah.
And I'm on the other side, and now they're embracing, and I can help bring them to the other side.
Well, we need that. You know, I feel like this world desperately needs that love, you know, and that unconditional support, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, like, with my Southern Glitter, I care about all people, you know, men, women, you know, and everybody. But specifically, you know, I wanted the platform to be a place for women to have a voice. So what would you say to that young woman that's just come to Nashville? You know, what is that token advice you would give that young girl? You know, if it was like a young you coming to this town for the first time, what would you tell that person?
To be very careful what they get themselves into, and I would even say to go as far as, if you're a singer-songwriter and you don't want to be, like, there's a fine line of I call it prostitution of the gift.
Yeah.
And so if there's a music mill going on in this town, and you go down and you end up being a part of it, sometimes it ends up being like sort of a prostitution of the gift that's in you. And if you're a singer-songwriter, it might be better to have a job, a real job, and go out and express yourself in songwriter nights and things like that, and go gig outside of Nashville, 50, 60, 70 miles outside of Nashville. You're going to make some money, you know?
Yeah.
But don't sell yourself out to the music mill, because when you start to want to get a deal, the first thing that they ask is, one of the first things they ask at a record label is, where are you singing? If you say, I'm going to be blunt, if you say I'm singing at the music mill here, I won't even mention where it's at, they close the door in your face, because they think you're all washed up because you've been around all the, they use you up, you know, they use you up, and you can sing an hour, 2 hours here, and then you circle around sometimes, circle around from bar to bar to bar, and you're kind of worn out, you know. So by the time you end up sitting across from a music business person, they see it as a washed up deal.
Yeah.
And I've known many people sitting in front of a true music mogul, and they said, I'm singing blah, 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 down wherever, and they're like, okay, this meeting's over with.
Wow.
So it's best to be, choose yourself and put yourself in a light of class. So when you do sing out, don't oversaturate yourself. When you do sing out, it's in a place where you can show all your gifting, you know, and then go sing outside of town somewhere and make your money.
Yeah.
And do a regular job. I mean, that's the way I look at it. And then don't go into meetings with people like that are, I mean, check into it before you go into a meeting, because, I mean, I'm not going to go into all, but when I was younger, I had a horrifying experience down on Music Row.
Yeah.
A horrifying experience.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put yourself in that position ever, you know, especially being so young and all that. So I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah. Be careful. Watch what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And watch other people too. Yeah.
Nashville's not like it. I mean, it was at one time, maybe before I even came here. It was already gone. When I came here, that Nashville was already gone.
Yeah.
So it's not like that anymore. It's not that family-friendly thing like everybody thinks that it is. It's getting more like a New York or an LA.
Yeah.
And so it's very dangerous for women, especially.
Yeah.
You know.
And that message needs to be told.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so you're one of the most, with your writing, you're a very talented writer. You really, I've listened to your songs now. They all have a great hook, but they also have that truth, you know, and that message. And I feel like not everybody is able to do that, you know, especially here. They try to reach for it, but, so when you're writing, what does that process look like? You know, how do you come up with your songs, and how do you, you know, start to, you know, become Gina the artist, you know?
I've lived a lot of life. So, like, for example, let's talk about the Saturday Night Center song. So I've been in and out of church situations, which, you know, I love the church and all that. I'm not saying anything against it. But there was a situation with a family member. And I was out in Missouri with my sister, and she was dying. And I went there for 6 months to be with her, and all the way up to the end. And after that, and her family never really liked me because of my past and all that. And after she passed away, the very, like, next week, because I was singing out, I was trying to make money. I was singing out in bar restaurants and things like that to stay there and be with my sister, you know, to the very end. And so her son said to me, because he's, you know, super Pentecostal, and not saying anything against it, but he did say to me, "You're just a Saturday night sinner, Sunday morning saint," because I claim to have a relationship with God out in, and yet I'm out there singing in country venues and things like that. And so I said, well, you know, that's really hurtful, but thank you, you know, because I knew I'm going to go write that song. But I didn't realize it was going to be 6 years later.
Yeah.
So 6 years later, I'm sitting in an apartment I was living in, and all of a sudden I hear, "You're writing Saturday Night Center today," and here it is, and it started coming in, like in 10 minutes it was written.
Wow.
And it was the melody and everything. I grabbed my guitar quick, because man, when it comes in from there, you gotta write quick.
I got chills just even hearing that story.
And so there's a channel, you know, like you can, there's destructive music where you can be channeling from here, from down here, or you can channel from here, you know, and that's the way I look at it. When that music channel opens up and it's birthed in like that, it's the best thing ever. But then there's the songs that you've lived, and you're in a songwriting or co-writing situation, and you go, okay, here's a great hook here, and I've lived this, now, is this going to be commercial or is it going to be more like I have that funny Mr. Know-It-All song? That's coming out too in the next, 6 months or so. But it's funny. And it's commercial. I was trained 2 minutes and 40 seconds of a song. That's the 2 minutes 40 seconds or not more than 3:35. Never more than 3:35 because it's not radio play. So I was trained and that was drilled into me. And that was writing on Music Row. It was drilled into me. Do not ever write a song over this.
Yeah.
And nowadays that's kind of gone out the door a bit. But usually all of them are within a time frame. So the more commercial they are, they're radio hits, and that's great. They are within that time frame. They always are. I don't even hardly have to time them anymore.
Yeah.
Because they always are. Because they're so commercial, and the hook is so tied in there. Like it might be double hooks, and what I mean by is you might bring it in the top of the chorus and in the end, of course, like Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah, I feel like so many people, for how many writers are here, so many people don't just do that concept. You know what I mean?
They don't.
So many, and I don't understand. I'm just like, you can get a deep song, but also just say it. I mean, make it more hooky that way. I feel like that's, so many people just don't do that. And I just always wonder, like, okay.
It's hard for me to write with people that don't do that. It is hard, they don't grab the concept of it or whatever, but it's so ingrained in me, so I kind of have to, I slide some grace and go, you know what, this person's a creative, flowing artist, and I try to not stifle that, but it's very hard for me to write with them because I want to just go, hey, hang on, I've got this thought going on here or whatever, and how we do sometimes. As seasoned writers around Nashville, we tend to take off on it, and pretty much we could write the whole thing right then and there.
Yeah.
But we want to have their input too, right? So, but it is hard to write. It's more of a creative flow, and they might not even have verse, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus. They might have, verse, chorus, or they might not even have that. Some of them don't even have verses. They might even have, and not saying that's bad.
No, because sometimes it's good stuff.
It's a creative flow, and that's how it's coming into them. So we can't really discount how it's coming into them because they're having, if it's something that's meaningful, they're getting it channeled in too. So we can never want to try to stifle that, and sometimes co-writing situations can do that.
For sure.
So.
There's different threads going, we're all following the wrong trail, Let's see, I'll ask one more and then, we'll wrap.
My Biddy. Look how pretty she looks on camera. This is my Biddy.
Yeah, what's your dog? What's her name?
Biddy.
Biddy.
Yeah, and it was itty bitty when she was born, and I had her at 6 weeks old. She was as big as her head. So she outgrew the itty part.
She looks so happy.
She's happy all the time.
So, I believe in miracles, and I'm a big miracle person, and so, as I'm doing interviews with people I find inspirational to me personally, and putting them on the page, I wonder, what, have you seen any miracles in your own life? Is there a miracle moment for you that's happened that you could share with everybody?
Oh, for sure. I was an atheist, and I was 29 years old, and I was a major drug addict and drug dealer and all kinds of stuff. That's part of my book, Madam of Music Row on Amazon. It's a bestseller.
I'll go get that book.
And I was in my bedroom. I had been up with a high-powered music person till 6 o'clock in the morning. And I went to lay down. And, whenever people who have ever done drugs, they know this. If you're coming down off of an upper, you want to go and drink some milk or eat some pizza or some bread or something to absorb it, And I thought, well, I'm pretty high right now. I'll go do that. So I went and did that, but it didn't help. So I went into my bedroom, and I was losing my breath. I looked in the mirror, and I was gray, and so I was like gasping for air. And there was this presence that came into my bedroom. And so when people say that, you know, you got to go out and preach Jesus, you know, you got to get in front of people, it's not true, not all the time, because his spirit came into my bedroom, and I was atheist and didn't believe.
Yeah.
And it said to me, it wasn't an audible voice, it was just like I was losing my life right there.
Yeah.
And so it was like a shaking moment of, if you don't want to die like this, get on your knees and pray for the desire to leave you, the desire for the drugs. And I hit my knees immediately, and I prayed it, and my breath is almost like I was like an inflated balloon, and the breath came back in my body.
Wow.
And something flew off of me. That was the drugs, the desire of the drugs. And I was just, I knew I was alive, thank you, if that was you, God.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still asking if that was you. And I went in, and I had a big pile of drugs, cocaine and meth, quite frankly, on the table. And I took it and pushed it off onto a plate, and I went into my bathroom and flushed it. And I knew that I had to do that, not because I desired it, but because that was a pivotal point in my life that I needed to flush that crap down the toilet,
Yeah.
literally. And I never wanted it again. So never did I ever stick a straw at my nose again after that. I never touched it again. I didn't want it again. I didn't have to go to rehab for having a $1,500 a week habit back in the 90s.
Wow.
Didn't have to go to rehab for that. Nothing. I was delivered. So that's a major miracle in my life. My life started changing then. I always say that he took an old, hard, crusty onion. You know, I grew up in the bars singing. And he took one little pluck off of there and said, now I can start, there goes the drugs, I can start using her.
Yeah.
I didn't accept him at that moment until later. And so when it happened later, it was almost like he took another pluck off and said, there, now she believes in me totally. And so he's been plucking ever since, is what I'm trying to say.
That's amazing.
He's still plucking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm experiencing that personally in my own life. As it's like I had to quit alcohol, and then it's like, oh wait, you got to work on this now.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you got to work on this now. You know, and every day.
I'm so happy and so proud of you, watching you blossom over the past, 5 years now, I think, since 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, 21. Yeah, 5 years.
I met you right when I was like on my downfall personally of my own journey, you know, and
Yeah.
It was such a God thing to meet you at that time, because man, did I just need some unconditional, love. Just love,
Yeah.
but also you've been through it, you know,
Yeah.
you knew. I don't know. It's just it was crazy timing, you know, in that
Yeah.
moment. So.
Well, I knew when I first met you that, like there was a lot. I was going to be praying for you a lot, and then I was just going to be real with you, and we hung out and had a lot of fun, I was just real with you and stuff, and I knew that God was going to take you from that to where you are now. I could see the future person, and so that's why when I sit here with you now, I'm like, my heart is so warmed because of who you are and becoming. It's beautiful.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. I mean, it's all God, you know. We all know this. We've both gotten on our knees and had that, like. But it was, it's our choice too to walk toward the light or the darkness too.
This is true.
Well, thank you so much. Do you have anything you want to tell everybody that, like you have your books out, which is great, and you have music out. Like, what would you want to tell everybody is your biggest project you have out right now?
Well, it's kind of married together a bit. So the Madam of Music Row book is on Amazon. It's a bestseller. That's a great book to give out to people who are walking through some extreme darkness, because it's exactly told how I lived it. I didn't, there's an inspirational end to it. I didn't make it a churchy book. because it wasn't lived churchy. It was lived rough and outlaw.
Yeah.
So I wrote it exactly how I would have spoken back then and everything.
People need real. I mean, that's the truth. Like life.
I'm learning that more and more. But yeah, go on YouTube and subscribe to Gina Jones, Gina Jones. Saturday Night Sinner is the biggest video that's there, and subscribe there. That would be great. I need more subscribers so I can get monetized. And then yeah, on Spotify too. Stream my music, Apple Music, all over the place. Just stream.
Y'all go stream Gina Jones, and thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Bye.
Bye.